The following program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.
Hello and welcome to the Happiness Jungle. CammieBaker.com here. I am your host of the day, actually the queen of the jungle, and I am so excited to have another queen. You guys always know when I've got another sister powerhouse in the house, and anybody sitting at our table is a sister powerhouse. They're always a queen as well, and we want you to be introduced to Miss Amy. And Amy is going to share with us a new modality of healing. She's going to share with us her beautiful energy, and I just want to share with you, I just met Amy last week, and it is so yummy delicious. When you're out playing in the happiness jungle of your own and you put out the right vibration, you just naturally draw to you those people that you want in your circle. And I can honestly say that would be Miss Amy. Amy, share with our audience a little bit about who you are and what makes you just vibrate in such a blessed way.
Who am I? Loaded question. I'm a healer. I'm an acupuncture physician, by trade is one of my titles, if you want to go by that. But I'm really here to help inspire people and to lead by example and to share the love and sprinkle my fairy dust on the world.
Sprinkle your fairy dust!
Sprinkle the fairy dust. Yes.
I love that. I was just sharing with you last night, I was watching something with Tony Robbins and Oprah, and both of them, while they were talking just like you and I are now on their TV show, she was saying, you know what, I just love to inspire people. She said, I love it when somebody says, I never thought of that. And he said, yeah, me too. And I thought, yeah, me too. I love when I'm coaching or when I'm in the or in front of an audience and people say, wow, I never thought of that. So we're both sprinkling our fairy dust in our own little way.
But that's what this is all about. We're all here to walk our talk, okay? Walk through the fire, as you were telling me about your fire walking experience, right? To get the mind out of the way and to follow the heart. The longest distance we'll ever travel is head to heart, and that's our purpose here.
Isn't that true? And you know what? People look at you just like I did when I first met you last week, and as you sit there in your glory, and they think, she's so beautiful. She's got it all together. What can she teach me? However, there's always a story. And the title of our show today is Bullied to Blessed. Tell us how that has affected your life.
So for me growing up, the bullying started at home. And I would always be scared and hiding in my closet looking for a safe place to run from the monsters. And, there's nowhere to hide at that point. And then my journey continued when I went to an all-girls school. And I was bullied every day, day in, day out, middle school. As we all know, that's a tough time for any teenager to go through trying to figure out who you are, how everything works, what's going on.
Teenagers are so cruel, girl.
And especially, girls, the cattiness that goes with that. And so I was bullied for a couple of years, and I kept showing my face. I would go home crying every day, and I'd never let them see me cry. And I would keep coming back and staying strong, and I was able to overcome it.
Yeah. Well, it's so important for our viewers to know that, even if they are being bullied, even if you are being bullied, even if you feel like you don't fit in, you know what? I find that all the powerhouse women that I talk to, when we really have intimate conversation, we all were bullied or abused or taken advantage of or any of it. But the good news about that is we've all come out blessed.
Well, it's all about learning the wisdom, and we learn through the experiences that we have, because anyone can read a book and say, I read this. But have you walked it? Have you walked through the fire? Have you found that fortitude in your heart that's there for all of us? Have you tapped into that and shown yourself how strong you are? I have. And that's what it's all about. And then showing others that there's always hope. And you know what?
I'm actually really glad. I was just having this conversation this week. It might have been with you. When I was in high school, I was so not popular. I literally had one friend in high school, and if she wasn't there, I didn't have anybody to have lunch with.
Oh.
And I always dated men that were out, that were way above high school age. And I just was shunned and not even talked to in high school. And at the time, it seemed so painful.
Yes.
But looking back on it, when I went to my 30th, that's right, 30, my 30th class reunion.
No one will believe it.
I felt so proud walking in there, who I am.
It's beautiful.
And seeing those people who didn't have the time of day for me and who they've become, for my vision of it.
Right.
And just, so grateful that I was kind of shunned, because that made me walk through fire.
Yes.
And what is it, the phoenix that comes out on the other side?
The phoenix rises from the ashes, and the ashes, and everything happens for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all about learning that, and you don't learn it until you're through the lesson. When you're in it, the emotional part, the trauma and the drama can be consuming, and then you can take it out on yourself and abuse yourself.
Which is one of the things that you help people with.
Yes.
Talk about that a little bit.
Well, the thing is that people who are the bullies, okay, are also bullied. We do what we see unless or until we shine the light of awareness and learn there's another way, okay? So the people that are bullied need as much help as the people who are bullies. Like both need help, yin and yang, okay? So they're lashing out and crying out for attention, and both people are insecure as a result. And that's what happens. So the abuser abuses. And so for me, I've had the pleasure and the opportunity to help both sides.
Through your modalities.
Yes.
So how did you decide that acupuncture, Reiki puncture, how did you find out that that was really your true calling to help both bullies and bullied?
So I started, with acupuncture, my training there to become a doctor that way. And then I added Reiki onto my training and my path, and learning the art of Reiki and how it works. And the beauty is acupuncture works to align the energy inside the body. Reiki works to align the energy outside of the body. And then it was given to me as a gift, if you will, by spirit, that my purpose was to do Reiki puncture. And the idea of Reiki puncture is it's a turbocharged healing session. So you have the combination of the healing powers of acupuncture and then Reiki combined. So the healing is accelerated. And I also do channeling work at the same time. So I work with people on an individual basis based on what I'm guided, based on, again, art and science, in terms of what I'm guided to do and how to help that person empower him or herself to a place of self-love.
And how do people typically find you? Not like just your website,
right.
but how do they get divinely guided to find you, do you think?
For my business, it's word of mouth. So when people come to see me and they have great experiences with the healing work, and I'm a facilitator, of the work, that's what I do. And then people talk, or, basically we'll do recommendations on Facebook, or, something great like that, or LinkedIn, social media, and then people will see that and share the post. And so it's word of mouth.
Give me an example of someone that's been on your table in your office, of not their name obviously,
Yeah.
but where they were when you met them and what happened after your modality.
Oh, wow. Well, one of my other specialties, I know we're talking about, being bullied, and bullying and self-love is also addiction. And a lot of times those go together as well. So I had someone come in who was bullied and abusing herself, through addiction, through cutting, actually, which is really scary. She was literally cutting herself for not feeling worthy. And through coming to see me, and she was a teenager, and through coming to see me, she stopped cutting herself, and I was able to help to shine the light of awareness to her. And then she, through our journey together, found herself worthy of the love that she really deserves. And it's such a beautiful metamorphosis, an illumination, if you will, where she turned into a butterfly and allowed herself to become that, and to see herself for the beauty that she really had within.
Yeah. I actually have some personal experience with someone in my life that I love very much that was a cutter. And, being an alcoholic, because my journey is about alcoholism and addiction, which is in the book.
Right,
and,
yes.
And, I remember seeing this person that I loved so much actually cut themselves one day. And I remember seeing her and thinking, why would she do that to herself? But then I remembered what it looked like when I would get so drunk that I would pass out.
Black out.
Oh, black out, bruise myself, be laying in the floor, have
Yes.
people stepping over me. And I remember thinking, they probably looked at me and thought, why would she do that to herself? And I realized that addiction is addiction is addiction.
Yes, exactly.
Whether you're cutting or whether you're drinking to
Yes.
excess, why would you do that to yourself? But that's what you help people with.
Yes, because addiction, I call it running and numbing, right? So even anything good in excess can be an addiction. So if you're doing something to try and run from yourself, then that's an addiction. Anything in an extreme is addiction.
Yes, even online dating.
Yes, too much swiping. No.
Too much swiping. Swiping, swiper. Let's take a step back, because you went from being bullied to stepping into this beautiful person you are today and helping all of these people. Talk to me about the moment that happened in your life when you thought, you know what, no more. I am not going to be bullied. I'm not going to feel this way. I'm going to step into my power.
It's actually been, my journey has been in many layers, and there's been many phoenix rising from the ashes moments in my life. And, you know, the first time was, again, when I ended up they voted me and the vice president of my class in 9th grade after a couple of years of being bullied and then not giving my power away. So that was a hugely rewarding experience. And there have been several different moments. And I took my power back when I had my spiritual awakening, and I was at the lowest point that I can remember in my life, the darkest before the dawn, an addiction of my own. And I was working with a healer who does the work very similar to what I do. And I had a moment, divine intervention, where I knew that if I didn't empower myself and change my path, I was going to die. That I was going to die. And I listened. It was my time. I was ready to listen, because you have to be ready, willing and able.
That is the truth. That is so true. So what kind of advice would you give our viewers about how they can find their way to that spiritual awakening?
So first of all, there are signs all around us. Okay, the universe is always giving us signs of love, and through people, through numbers, through animals, through messages for me on license plates. That's a big one. I know it sounds crazy, but I'm telling you, it's going to be in my book.
What was the one you saw on the way here?
The one I saw here was, "It's time, ... And I was so grateful. I'm always grateful for the signs. So the signs are everywhere. We just have to be open. So the first step is to be open. And you don't have to be religious, or you don't have to even be spiritual. It's just about having an open mind and giving yourself permission to be vulnerable. That's our greatest strength, and have an open heart. It's huge. And so many people walk around with armor because we've all been through something, okay? We're in school on earth. We're here to learn lessons, okay? And the only way to self-love a lot of times is learning from people what not to do and who not to be, and learning it's not personal. One of the biggest things I can say to everyone is, please don't take things personally.
Right.
Because nothing anyone says or does is about you. It's about them. They're just showing you where they are.
Yeah. Yeah. And before we even come into this lifetime, we made an agreement with them that they would be our teacher.
Exactly. Soul contracts, baby. Sacred contracts. That's what it's all about. We choose our parents to learn who to be and who not to be. I chose both of mine to break the cycle and to break ancestral karma, which I did. So that's been the most empowering point in my life. You asked about empowering myself. That's been my most empowering moment, when I broke generations and generations of abuse and addiction.
You know, it's interesting that you're talking about this, because I don't know how many of our viewers are woo-woo and how many aren't. But I understand this conversation, but so many people don't.
Yes.
Do you believe that we have to be an old soul to really be able to have this kind of a conversation?
I really do. It's a different plane, and it's based on, you know, being an old soul, and it's in all of us, and we've just had a different number of lifetimes. Some of us are young souls, and we're just getting started, and then some of us are old souls. I know this is my last go around, so the bigger the path, the bigger the lessons, right? That's how this works, you know.
Well, I know I've met some children that are 8, 9, 10 years old, and their soul is so deep and so wise that you could have a conversation like this. And then I know people in their 40s and 50s. I don't know where they're coming from.
Yeah, it's like it went over your head. You're like, hey, what's going on? Yeah, well, where'd that go? Exactly. But it's all about the connection. So age is irrelevant. It's all about the connection we have with people from our hearts.
Well, and the age is simply the vessel we are in now.
That's right.
It is not the age of our soul.
No.
That's for sure. So you mentioned to me that you are wanting to get a book out. You've actually got a title for the book if you'd like to share it.
Yes.
And also to start becoming a speaker. Talk to me about your book and what you want to speak on.
So my book is going to be titled Rise and Shine. And my purpose is to inspire others and lead by example and to walk my talk. And it's going to be about, my personal story that I can share with people based on different adversities that I've triumphed over and chosen self-love. Each time, that's the common denominator, because when you choose self-love, you're choosing empowerment. And so I want to share with people that there's always hope. This book is going to be hope, to show people that the word impossible says, I'm possible. And not to let anyone dull your sparkle. Be your unique self. We're here to shine brightly. We're not here to fit in. We are here to stand out.
Isn't that the truth? I love that.
And we're all united. We are all one at our core. But be true to yourself. Like, this is the most important message that I have. Never change yourself for anyone. Never give yourself away.
Boy, does that resonate with me. People look at powerful women or men, and there's such a preconceived notion.
Yes.
People make their determination in the first 7 seconds or something, but nobody really knows what's going on behind closed doors. And to give yourself away is it's a lack of power.
Well, it's all about one of the biggest addictions in society, and one that I've broken is codependency. Okay, because codependency is from a place of need versus want. Okay, codependency is from a place of being disempowered and giving your power away, giving to get love, right? So it's like destination addiction. The idea that anything outside of you is going to fill you. Well, guess what? You're just going to be more empty each time, and you're going to keep looking and looking and looking, and then the stack is going to get greater and greater, and the void will just get larger.
I want to hear more details about your modality and the fact that you are wanting to make Reiki puncture a household word.
Yes.
And actually start teaching it to others.
I do. I really want to share Reiki puncture, with the world, because I've seen what it's done for clients of mine and people that I've worked on, and it's been truly transformational. And I know my purpose is to share that, and that the first way obviously will be from people who are acupuncture physicians, coming out of school, for example, or people who have been acupuncture physicians for a while and want to add to their practice or do something different that nobody's doing. So I want to be able to teach them how to do it, and have, and so on and so forth. So paying it forward, right?
Can you do it on animals too?
So I do healing work on animals. I do strictly Reiki. It's strictly Reiki. That sounds funny. It's strictly Reiki on animals, because again, every state has different laws with acupuncture. Certain states you need to be a veterinarian. So what I do is, I do Reiki hands-on healing. I actually helped do an exorcism on a dog that put the dog back in the body.
Wow.
Yeah. It's powerful. It's crazy. I know people are like, oh my God, okay. But you have to experience it to believe it, right?
Yeah.
So people say seeing is believing. I say feeling is believing. Yep. And I embrace skeptics. I'm like, bring it on.
Well, they say you got to see it to believe it, but really it's you got to believe it to see it.
Yes, exactly, right? The law of attraction.
Yeah.
It's exactly it. So it's feeling the joy and the love. If that's what you want to attract, that's what you have to be.
Be that which be that which you seek.
Be the love you wish to see in the world.
Yeah. And I can see you being on stage and sharing your story, and therefore attracting people to the Reiki puncture.
Yes.
And to creating classes about it and the whole deal.
And that's what, my vision is, and that's what I've been told that I'm here to do.
Nice. So what kind of things does Amy do on a daily basis to keep so connected to spirit and keep so just moving forward?
So for me, one of the key things, I live in the mountains, 9 houses on the street. It's in the middle of nowhere, but it's the most beautiful place on earth with nature. It's all about connecting with nature and animals, and that's how we tune in, is in the silence. That's where the answers are.
Boy, that's so tough right now, silence.
But that's the key, put the cell phone down. And I know myself, I'm like, put the phone away. I don't have a TV at home. It's all about, I love going home and I love just being in the stillness, in the quiet. And I meditate twice a day. I take care of all my whole self inside and out. So it's not just the spiritual self, but it's the mental, it's the emotional, it's the physical. So all the healing work I do on myself, the healers I see, my fitness competing that I do to help inspire others and to honor my physical self, there's many different facets. So it's not just about targeting one, because then you'll be out of balance. It's finding different ways of honoring and empowering yourself and making sure that you take time to fill you, because you can't pour from an empty cup.
You can't give away that which you don't have.
That's right. Overdrawn a bank account, baby. You can't
Isn't
do
it
that.
awesome to have all these different kinds of ways of saying the same thing?
Synchronicity, it is. It's
Yeah.
wonderful.
And just whatever resonates with you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So you mentioned you meditate a couple of times a day.
Yes.
I have tried all kinds of meditation. Some people say you have to sit totally still, and other people say no, you can walk. And
Yes.
I find for me meditation is dancing,
Yes.
or even driving in my car.
Absolutely.
So what kind of meditation do you do?
So, and I was a dancer, went to performing arts school. For me, meditation is anything that brings you into the present moment. It can be being in the shower, just be there. So I use a guided app on my phone that I love, because I like guided meditation. There's all different lengths and thousands to choose from. But anytime you allow yourself to be present, you give yourself permission to be, you are meditating, because you're in the moment.
And I have heard that praying is you talking to God, but meditating is God talking to you.
Yes, that's in order for that to happen, you need to be still. You need to be in the moment in order to hear God.
You know, now that we're talking about that, I think that that's maybe what's missing so much in our society, because we're so overwhelmed with input.
Yes.
And I know for me, it's so hard to just put the phone down.
Me too, and it calls to you. And back in the day, it used to be like you'd feel naked without a watch. Now it's like, okay, where's my phone?
Yeah. Panic.
Yeah, you get panicked. You're like, oh my God, did I lose it? And you're like, wow, okay. American Express card, don't leave home without it. I mean, it's not that anymore, it's your phone.
I used to be in a network marketing company, and one of our products was cell phones.
Oh,
so
wow.
we were a reseller of cell phone, of all of them, Verizon, all of them. And we would say, you can leave your child at home and think, well, there's food, there's the TV, they'll be okay.
Yeah.
But the minute you realize you've left your cell phone at home, you're turning around.
Oh, yeah.
You're going back.
Oh, yeah. Doesn't matter how far away you are, you're going. It's crazy. So because we're oversaturated and bombarded with information that is tempting to pull us away from what's real. So it's all about being your own anchor and finding things that anchor you. Affirmations are another way that I do it. Animals, being with animals, and anything that's going to have you be present is a meditation.
That's why when people say, how are you, Cammie? I say, I am fabulous, fierce, and on fire, because
Woo!
that is
Yes,
my
it is.
daily over and over and over
Yes.
affirmation. I'm fabulous, fierce, and on fire. Thank you for allowing me to say that one more time today.
I love that. Yes, you are, girl. You so are. And it's all about the I am, Wayne Dyer, amazing soul. And, I say the I ams every day, because when you say I am, you're empowering, God within you, the full power of God within you, which is why be careful how you speak to yourself. Because anytime you say the negatives, with the T, I'm not going to say it. We're not even putting that out there to the universe. Then you're denouncing the power of God within you. So you don't attract what you want, you attract who you are.
Isn't that the truth?
And you have to believe you're worthy in order to attract what you want.
And the good news about that is that good, bad, or indifferent, wherever we are in life, we created that.
Yes.
And since when we honestly own
Yes.
that we've created where we are, whether it's good or bad, now we
Yes.
can own that we can create whatever we want.
That's exactly right. You can change your vibration at any moment. That's the beauty. That's one of the few things in our control. You can change your vibration. If you're attracting things in your life that are coming from a place of fear and lack of, you can change it just like that by becoming present and being in a place of love and gratitude. One of the biggest gifts you can give is being grateful in advance. Gratitude in advance, as if it's all what you want is already there.
It's even like when I ask for something in an email, I'll sign it, thank you in advance for your attention to this.
That's exactly right.
So, thank you in advance.
Yes, for winning the lottery.
For your attention. Thank you in advance. So we've talked a little bit about doing a cause marketing campaign together.
Yes.
And
I'm so excited.
you are really on a beautiful drive to stop bullying.
Yes.
So talk to me about that a little bit. Like, let's just play with that thought. What does it look like to you to actually, on a big scale, help to stop bullying, or help the bullies stop feeling like they need to perpetuate the bullying that's being done to them? Just all of, there's such a need for that right now.
Well, I feel that in terms of the book that I'm writing, but the motivational speaking piece, maybe going into schools, for example, maybe bringing that to schools, and then making offers in terms of offering, healing sessions to people who are being bullied. And it's education. I feel like they just don't know, to be perfectly honest with you. I feel like once you shine the light of awareness, you give people the opportunity to see things differently.
Just like Dr. Wayne Dyer would say.
Yes.
When you change the way you look at things.
The things you look at change.
That's what I'm talking about.
Girl, Shazam, that's right.
So we've got a couple of minutes left.
Okay.
Cammie Baker is going to be quiet and let Amy share with our viewers, what do you want them to know about you?
What do I want them to know about me?
Or what do you want them to know about themselves? What do you want to share? Like, what are you channeled to share?
What I'm channeling is the most important gift you'll ever give to yourself is love in any moment, because we can choose love or fear. And love is always the answer. And the fear may pull you because it's familiar. It's like that security, not so security blanket, because of the conditioning that you've had that goes back lifetimes and lifetimes. So you can always choose love. It's always an opportunity. And even if it doesn't feel like it is, it's always there for you. And you're not alone. Like, one of the most important things I can say is you're never alone. Love is always around you. And that's one of the beauties of connecting with spirit, because God is love. Everything else is an illusion.
And it doesn't matter what your religious
Nope.
background. This has nothing to do with religion at all.
Not at all.
It's about being connected to your
Yes.
inner self, the universe as a whole. I think of it as Mother Nature.
Exactly. Well, it's all about nature and Gaia and Mother Earth and the love in the earth. Like, I will go, it sounds funny, but a tree hugger. Like, I will go hug trees. The energy from the trees is like the most beautiful thing. The love that the tree gives to you and the love that you give back. I mean, it's beautiful. It's like a hug. It is. It's a warm embrace from nature.
It's funny you say that. I was out at a lake last weekend, and I just put on my earphones and I was listening to some old Prince.
Yeah, I love it. Purple
And I
Rain,
was dancing to some
Yeah,
Prince, and I just put
yeah.
my hand on a tree, and I was kind of like dancing with the tree.
I love it.
Like the tree was my
The
mate.
tree of life. It's
Yeah,
beautiful.
So, well, we are coming to the end at the happiness jungle. Amy, it's a jungle out there, and it's a blessing that we have leaders and lights, people that are shining the light so that we can find happiness in the jungle. Thank you so much for honoring us with your presence today.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
The preceding program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.